Hey class, good morning and welcome back to Introductory Psychology. Welcome to week 7. Hope you all are doing well. Hopefully you're enjoying this beautiful weather we have today. It's quite the contrast from the weather we had throughout the week. Hopefully you weren't too inconvenienced by the ice and the rain and all that fun stuff. Maybe you got a snow day or two out of it. I definitely did. OU closed and so did OSU OKC, so I took advantage of that, did some work at home and kind of rested up and kind of ready to go back. I considered it sort of a little mini vacation or a little mini break from school, so it was nice. But anyways, hopefully you got to stay warm and maybe got to enjoy it a little bit. Anyways, we are at week 7. I can't believe it. We're almost to the halfway point, if you can believe that. I know I say it a lot, but time just seems to fly. Especially when you're learning. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself and learning, and it seems to fly by. So, for week 7, we've got a lot to talk about. I say a lot, but relatively speaking. Your first response paper is due tomorrow by 11:59 p.m. I think a couple of you have already submitted yours, so I'm expecting quite a few to be submitted in the next 24 hours. So can't wait to read those and see what you all think about the topic of memory and false memories and such, and eyewitness testimony. I think it's a fascinating topic, so I'm interested in what you all think. So please check that out on D2L in week 6 if you haven't accessed that yet. There's a TED Talk and a short assignment, a little write-up, 2-page write-up that I want you to complete. But if you haven't done that yet, please see the directions. Also see last week's video as well. So once you've done that, you are ready and good to move on to Chapter 7, which is a lot going on in Chapter 7. It's thinking, language, and intelligence. So kind of 3 big categories under the umbrella of cognitive psychology kind of thrown into one chapter. So thinking, language, and intelligence. So by the end of this chapter, you should be able to define what thinking is. So anytime you hear the word thinking, kind of replace it with cognition. They're interchangeable. We're going to be thinking about thinking in terms of problem solving and decision making. You'll also look at the nature of language. There's different viewpoints about how language originates. You'll also look at how it develops within the sort of idea of the 2-year explosion. Then switching gears over into intelligence, you're going to be looking at the different theories about the nature of intelligence. There are quite a few different theories about intelligence. Some people believe it's a singular intelligence, this idea of a singular concept. Others believe that it's multifaceted, so you're going to get to read about that. I think that stuff is really interesting too. You'll look at how we measure intelligence and especially some of the controversy behind that. And then also the role of nature and nurture in intelligence. So I don't know if we've talked about this before, but really anytime we talk about nature and nurture, it used to be referred to as nature versus nurture, but really it's nature and nurture. It's the two together. It's not one or the other. So keep that in mind as you're reading it. But this chapter, again, covers a broad range of topics. So I think they're all 3 interesting topics. So hopefully you enjoy them as well. So read Chapter 7. Again, this chapter is about cognitive psychology, basically what's going on between the ears. And a big topic in this chapter is decision making. So this week's discussion post will be about decision making. Actually, maybe we live in a culture that I think we have an abundance of decisions to make. We are surrounded by choices and decisions, and we probably make hundreds, if not thousands, of those every day and every week. So I have a discussion about decisions and a TED Talk to watch about that. So check that out. Your discussion post is due on Friday, of course. Make sure you respond to 2 posts, 2 of your peers, and you post in a timely fashion in order to earn full credit. Let's see. Lastly, Exam 2 is next week. Exam 2 will cover Chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're reading Chapter 7 this week. Once you're finished, you're welcome to go ahead and move on to Chapter 8 and begin reading that whenever you feel ready. But I will post Exam 2 probably, it'll be open next Saturday, most likely, maybe Sunday at the latest, and you'll have until the following Monday, at least more than a week, about 8 days to complete the exam. So, but be on the lookout for that. We have another exam on the horizon. So no discussion post next week, but an exam next week. And I will also have the practice quizzes up for all of those chapters, so you can take that and kind of see how you feel about each chapter before you actually take the exam. But remember, as you're reading, as you're taking notes, make sure if you have questions, post those to the discussion board, send them my way, and I'll be happy to answer those in a timely fashion. But other than that, again, kind of a lot on your plate this week. Make sure you turn in your response paper, read Chapter 7, complete the discussion post, and be prepared for Exam 2 next week. Other than that, I think that's about it for Week 7. I would recommend go out and enjoy this weather before it turns nasty again. Actually, I think we're supposed to have a really good week this week. So hopefully we do. Last week was a doozy. As someone who's trying to train for the OKC Marathon, it was very tough for me to get my runs in last week. In fact, yesterday I was going for a run around Hefner yesterday morning, and I got rained out. It was so bad. I had to call it quits in the middle of the run. It was so bad. So I'm glad we got this, hopefully a good week of weather. Maybe we can get outside and enjoy it a little bit. Other than that, I hope you all have a great week. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And take care. All right, bye.